What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Good to see everybody here today. Coming at you on another V1 live stream from North Texas. I do apologize for delaying the last stream. We were supposed to take care of this flight last week. Something came up and just been busy and a lot of stuff going on, so I just tried to get back to it as soon as I could, but we are finally back at it here on this lovely Tuesday afternoon. I hope you guys are ready to take off from Balmaceda Airport up to Argentina. It's I had it Presidente something airport. I had it right here, Juan Domingo Perón International Airport. No idea if I said that correctly. No idea where it is, but it's about between where we are now and going into Brazil. It's about halfway there. So our next flight, we're going to be headed up into some really cool city sceneries. So we've been flying through a lot of terrain. We're continuing the Latin America tour northbound. We're going to get this flight done today. Now I wanted to do this flight in the fly-by-wire because they do have this is the latest experimental version, and they say they have terrain radar up. So we're going to give it a shot today. I got SimBridge working. Word of caution, SimBridge, man, it really does give me a little bit of stutter here and there. So we're going to rock it. We're going to see how it is. Hopefully the sim will be stable. If all else fails, you know, we can always Alt F4 and turn it off or try it again. So right now, I have it all set up. We're going to try to see this new terrain feature. We'll talk about the terrain feature on the Airbus A320 family of aircraft. This one does have peaks mode, I believe. When I was looking at this terrain radar just at a little test flight, and I say test flight, I literally fired it up, took off, and then Alt F4'd and went and got lunch. But how about this livery too? The little penguin livery, staying with the penguin theme. We had our BAE 146 flight last time on the penguin, so I like this little JetSmart livery. And I believe this is actually a real served airport from JetSmart, who also has one of the coolest call signs I think I've heard. Well, it's on the top 5 call sign list. Smartbird. Smartbird. That is freaking awesome. I love that. Smartbird 357 will be our call sign today for JetSmart. Chaos, good to see you, my friend. Jeff L, what is up? Chris Stuper, good morning from Lost Wages. How's it going, Chris Stuper? Stephen Hayner in the house. Romulus, always a pleasure, sir. Welcome. Maze Shook, good afternoon, sir. Key 6 is in the house. Joe Vaughn, Commander Gina Huffin. Congratulations. Greetings, Captain. Good to see you. Good to see you, sir. Welcome aboard. Scott is in the house. Fubar is also in the house. Blue Bear is also in the house. Arrow Friend, James Monks, Alpha Mike. Karan Anderson, good to see you. Definitely ready for some more Kool-Aid, Microsoft Kool-Aid juice. Paul, you and me both, my friend. Good to see you. Christian Ionscu is also in the house. Good to see you, man. Been a while. Aaron Hastings, I feel like this is a little bit of a little reunion stream. You know, it's been after if I don't stream for about 5 days or so, I just feel like we just need to all get back together and hang out again. So it should be a fun flight today. Couple of private pilot membership. Thank you, Hakan Durgat, for joining the channel, man. Exclamation point, welcome for your new perks here on the channel. Glad to have you on board, my friend. Fedora, welcome to private pilot as well. Couple new members to pop off the stream. Gotta love it, gotta love it. I know I've been slacking on members only content, guys. I'm trying to just post some stuff in the V1 After Dark Discord, which is for you members only too, but it just, there's a lot going on right now. Like, I mean, I don't really want to say much just yet, but there's a lot happening at the V1 HQ right now, so just bear with me. We're gonna try to pick it up here. Look at this. Look at this weather. Like, the clouds are moving in here a little bit. It was nice and sunny, and now we got this little low cloud level moving in. But I gotta tell you, what a beautiful airplane here. Brand new 320 Neo. Are you guys ready to fire the sucker up? I think it's time to fire it up, shall we? I don't even remember my controls. Let's go. Peyton Carrera, you soloed last Friday, man. Congratulations, dude. Very awesome, man. Congratulations on your first solo, man. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure you enjoyed it. That is a day that you will never forget, my friend. You'll never forget. All right, let's go ahead and fire this bad boy up, shall we? Up to the overhead, we got our voltages, 25.5 or greater. Well, technically 25.6 and greater. We got 1, 2, and we'll go external power on. We'll let the airplane come to life. Now, one thing I want to show you guys here as I brighten up the screens, kind of goes unsaid, and I've talked about it a little bit before, but this brightness knob right here, let me know how the sim sounds are. They seem pretty loud. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. So just like in the real airplane, this is 2 knobs, and the outer knob controls the ND. The inner knob controls, or I said that backwards. The inner knob controls the brightness of the ND. The outer knob controls the brightness of the weather or the terrain radar. So you want to make sure that you have both of those on so you can see it. Sometimes if you know that maybe the brightness is off for terrain or weather, and you're flying around weather and like, why am I not showing any weather radar up here? This is real world technique because we don't have weather radar in the sim yet, but you always want to just double check that you do indeed have the brightness knob correctly set for either weather or terrain. Now some may ask, well, why would you even want to have a brightness knob for the terrain and weather? Sometimes when you're flying in on arrival and maybe there's terrain around but it's all green, what does our managed lateral path look like on the ND? It's a green line, right? So if you have all this green on green on green, sometimes it can be hard to see. So if you turn the brightness down a little bit on the terrain because you know it's below you, then it makes your path a little bit easier to see as you're flying. So that's why they have that adjustment knob there, so you can kind of turn down the brightness of just the radar or the terrain. But yeah, you always want to double check that you do have that knob on, especially when you're flying in those conditions. Did I fly that 738 sim maze? I can neither confirm nor deny if I was flying a 737. But let's just say I might be a V1 to sim here pretty soon. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna switch over to the dark side. Are you kidding me? But I did have some fun the other day. So I know you members, I posted a picture for you guys in the members. Lunar Pilot, absolutely, man. Is it the same on the toll list? Yes, I believe it is exactly the same, Lunar Pilot. And any aircraft that has that modeled, that will be the same function, right? So whether any Airbus you're in, even the wide body has the same, I believe the 330 has the same exact setup there for the brightness stop. All right, up to the overhead control, CVR test. Airbus Trader Jeff, no, my friend, no. Hey, here's the thing. I walked down the bridge there into that simulator, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't. I just aged 40 years, so I just did a about face, went into the 320 sim, and called it good, my friend. Airbus for life, exactly, Chris Stuper. All right, we're gonna go strobe. That's only there. They'll go nav position 1 because I'm flying. That's auto. We're gonna arm you. Everything looks good over here. This is a little fire test. 1, 2, and oh, don't want to do that. 3. Close that. And over here, ventilation, everything looks beautiful. Out and on for the PA knob if we could. Excellent. So that looks good. Let's come down here. Let's brighten up some of our backgrounds. Man, I feel like I haven't flown the Airbus in Microsoft in quite some time because we did what? The BAE 146 and we did the 737. We did the 73, then the BAE 146. That's been a while since I've been in the Airbus in the sim. Got the Throttletek cocked, locked, and ready to rock as well. So that's going to be, I'm doing a little tutorial video as well on how to get your binding set because I spoke to Roberto and he did say that they are shipping those first batch out sooner than expected. So I'm going to put a little tutorial video on how to bind the Throttletek if you were one of those that picked up one, whether you picked up the mini box or you picked up the full V3. If yours arrives before, I'm just kind of initializing the box here, but let's just, if your box arrives before I get that video out, which hopefully I can do by the end of this week, you're basically using the same bindings that's out there for the TCA thrust lever Quadrant because it's kind of the same switches, right? Engine master switches. So just look, there's a ton of videos on YouTube on how to bind the Thrustmaster. So just use those same bindings until I can get a proper video out for you. Favorite Airbus, Joe B? Man, that's a loaded question. It's either 319 or the 350 or the 321 if it's really bumpy. I don't know. I love them all, man. I love Airbus. It's a great airplane. And just, you guys know that I was in the sim too recently, and being in the simulator and putting the airplane through its paces and seeing all the abnormals and just how intuitive the airplane can actually be is, I love the Airbus, man. It's a hell of a piece of machinery for sure. Looking at our flight plan here, this is what they've got us going up here. I've kind of taken this terrain route so we can look a little bit more terrain here until we get higher. We might just cut across and go direct after, but let's zoom all the way down to our final loading numbers. I'm not even sure what we need here for fuel, so let's just get that information here. So for our fuel, we're going to start that. We need gate fuel of 13.7. So we're going to come over here. We're going to set up 13.7 on the gate fuel. 13.8, that works real time. That's going to take 6 minutes. They're going to start fueling. Let's come down here and start boarding before and we'll get the weather too before we do much more. 350 is your favorite too? The technology in that? Oh my gosh, Danny. I flew with a 350 pilot. He was my first officer just recently. He's actually brand new on the narrow body, but he'd been flying the 350 for quite some time overseas. And the stuff that he told me that airplane can do, it blows my mind. I mean, it is a hell of an airplane. You talk about technology and just advanced. It's crazy what it can do, man. All right, receive messages, SCBA, that is ours. We're just going to view this. No information available. Oh, you know what? I did digitally this. I did the wrong thing. See, I'm risky. I'm rusty. We'll do all that. SCQP is our alternate. I'm not even quite sure what SCQP is. Boarding is in the EFB now. Oh, really? Payload. Is this what we have? 176, 133? It sure is. Well, I'll be damned. Real time. How long is it going to take? Does it say? I don't know. Let's go ahead and start. Well, how do I... Can I import my sim brief loading, though? Because I want my sim brief informations. Oh, right here. It doesn't tell me passengers. What? Let's take 160. What the hell? Whoa, not 1600. 160. Start it. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. I like that. The new A350-1000 can taxi, take off, and land, taxi back to the gate on its own. Yeah, that's scary, Robinson. That's very scary. It sure can, but that's not... If you are a fan of piloting and flying airplanes, that's not something that you like to hear. But it is coming, you know. The single pilot ops are going to be coming at some point. There's nothing we can do about it. But all right, let's view the weathers. We're going to print all of that information. From there, we're going to come back to our flight plan initialization. Everything looks good. Allie, what's up, man? You've been missing the streams? Hey, man, I've been missing you guys. Welcome aboard, dude. Welcome aboard. Not a lot of info about the system inside, documents, etc. But so much neat little systems. Oh yeah, so you want to talk about neat little systems on the 350? I know we're totally off topic here, but the 350, from what I gathered, the FO was telling me. So basically, if you're in cruise and you have a dual engine failure, the airplane will automatically select the closest suitable alternate, start a turn to that airport, start pitching for best lift over drag, and basically run all the data for you. So literally, dual engine failure, you're not even supposed to touch the controls. Like that's, and I think that's an option, but he was flying them for some very high dollar foreign carriers, and it had like every option possible on it. But he literally said, a dual engine failure, you do not touch anything. You let the airplane do everything initially first, and then of course you're verifying and backing it up. But yeah, crazy stuff, man. Just absolutely crazy stuff. Mr. J. Santana has also just gifted 5 new memberships out there, guys. Grab them while it's hot. It's crazy. Mr. Robinson, thank you so much, man, for your continued support. Guys, if you pick up a membership, a gifted sub from Mr. Robinson J. Santana, make sure you say thank you. That's absolutely awesome. Thank you, sir, for your support. Excellent, excellent. Okay, let's come back down here. We're going to try to get some things started. So SCBA METAR 280 at 14, pretty mild conditions. So we're going to go ahead and departure 27. And our departure that we have is the Klins 4 to Audi. So we're going to select, that doesn't look right. No flight plan was found on server. Standby. Oh, you know what? Hold on, I never filed a proper flight plan. Give me a second. Pre-file. I never actually submitted it onto Vatical Sim here. File. We're on the Opura 3 Juliet. So Opura 3 Juliet insert out to Opura. And from there, it's direct to ESQ. So we'll just go ahead and delete the disco. Close the line there, all the way out to Bravo Alpha Romeo, and I don't even have an arrival filed for Sazen, but looking at the weather here, 270 at 6, let's see what we got here. Arrivals, ILS 9er or to VOR 27. Ooh, let's do a VOR 27 since I just did one in the simulator. VOR 27 no star, approach via, this is an arc, I believe. I believe this is an arc. I believe this is an arc. Let's see here. Let's go to Navigraph. Let's go to our approach here. I just want to look at ILS, I'm sorry, VORs for 27. Kind of chart we got. So Z, and I'm going to Bravo Alpha Romeo. So what we could either do the arc. We already did an arc. Why don't we just go direct to and do a full procedure turn? That ought to be spicy, right? So we're going to take it off of Nequin. Am I saying that right? Nequin, NEQ, NEU VOR. Is that an approach via? It should be. Boom. Insert. So we're basically going to fly SQ bar direct to new, and then we'll do a VOR procedure, full procedure outbound. We've already done the arc, which is, you know, the Airbus makes arcing so simple. I mean, compared to other airplanes I've flown, arcing on the Airbus is just a non-event, especially if you're in managed nav. You just LNAV it up and you go all the way there. Our top altitude was 370 in this lovely Neo today. We got 370 selected. Let me reset the flight directors here. Oh, that's right. That's going to stay there for a minute. All right, so 1FTD climb nav 370 is set. Our flight plan is set. Glad to be able to watch live today, Air Dave. I'm glad to have you on board, my friend. Welcome to the channel. Welcome. Why is what out of focus? Is the stream out of focus? What was out of focus, my friend? Sorry. Was it the over here? This sometimes is hard to read. If I got to zoom in on it. Is that better? Can you read it? Hopefully the stream quality is okay. Let me know. Like I said, I haven't messed with anything. I was watching some of Flight Deck to Sim stream earlier, and you know, he had audio issues. I've had those exact same ones, and I don't know what happens with Streamlabs. Literally, you just boot it up one day and everything has changed and doesn't work. I don't know. So if there's something wrong with the quality of the stream, let me know. I can try to do some work on it. All right, we're going to leave the zero fuel weight blank for now. We're waiting for our fuel, which actually, no, it's on board. We have 13.8 on board, so let's go ahead and put that in the block number there. We do have an alternate as well. That's why we're a little bit heavier on the fuel today. 13.8. We'll leave that blank. Fuel prediction, we're going to skip that. No secondary, nothing there. We're going to leave that page just like that. Let's verify that our fuel is on board and balanced. So we've got 54, 54, 2 wingtip tanks. Beautiful. Let's get our tank pumps on. Seatbelt sign on. Let's enjoy some ambiance. Yep, seems to be an issue for him. All right, cool. So, well, not cool, but just glad we're back. Glad it's not causing an issue on my end. The sensitivity on my yoke Tiago is minus 14%. Plus and minus on the curves on my side stick. That is it. Plus minus 14%, both in X and Y. The printing function never gets old. I agree. Totally agree. See, so look at this. Just listen to this sound. Now, I haven't been in the Phoenix in a very long time. I think the next flight, maybe tomorrow. If I can swing a stream tomorrow, you guys want to watch it? I'm going to try to do that. If we can, we'll do a Phoenix stream tomorrow. I got a really cool airport scenery we're going to fly into right on the coastline. Should be a lot of fun. But just listen to these sounds here boarding. It's like... the immersion is there. I feel like I'm sitting here getting ready for a deadhead. I recently just flew over to Atlanta for some personal business, and I was sitting on a window just like this. I mean, this is straight out of a real airplane. So it's the sensitivity, or the quality of the sounds, just immersion through the roof on this airplane. All right. While we're waiting for the boarding, let's go ahead and just make sure we've got everything else done. So we're waiting for our final zero fuel weight numbers. That's fine. VOR is on both sides. Constraint mode 29080 is set. I guess I can put this VOR indicator on this side over here just for Mr. Phantom 320. 370 is set. On departure, it's a clouding right turn. Not a big deal. Should be simple. Now, can we get terrain mode on the ground? We should be able to. There we go. I see something out here. Now remember, this is still obviously work in progress. We're painting some stuff. We're starting to paint some stuff. We'll talk all about peaks mode and what this means. Basically, red is bad. So, you know, you fly over there, you're going to hit the mountain. So we're going to, we'll mess with that in cruise as well, and then on departure. Matter of fact, we could probably pull our departure up here, just see, make sure there's nothing crazy we need to worry about here. So on the SID, we know we're going to taxi out 27. We're on the Opura 3 Juliet departure. Doesn't look right. Maybe it does. Yeah, basically climbing right turn. Yep, climbing right turn out to Opura. Looks good to me. A lot of terrain out there. We'll make sure we'll avoid that if necessary. And that looks good. Now let's keep track of our boarding process. So let me come back over here. Does it give me a percentage? 105 of 160. Cool. All right. Oh, look, you can actually see. This is all new to me. You can actually see the seats being occupied. Very cool. Ryan Acker, welcome to Commercial Pilot. Sorry, I missed your little notification there. Glad to have you on board as a new member, my friend. Exclamation point, welcome for your new perks on the channel. Glad to have you on board. For those that are wondering when you're going to see some more real-world shorts videos and some more real-world 30-second vlogs, I like to call them. They're called shorts. But that probably, I think I'm going out next week. Right? What's today? It's already Wednesday. Geez. So, yeah, Thursday. I'm off Friday, Saturday. So starting Sunday, it's either Sunday or Monday, so we'll have some more real-world stuff coming at you. You know, guys, I'm really bummed. I think I talked about this on the last stream. While we're boarding, let's just chill here on the wing. Maybe let's go over here for a second. But I actually had some really cool footage on my phone. I think I told you my phone got corrupted and I lost all that stuff. So I had probably 3 shorts videos. I had enough content for about 3 more shorts videos of some really cool stuff that I haven't really shown before, like some really bad weather stuff, actually some like a big hail shaft, and all of that got wiped from my phone. So I'm kind of bummed about that because I try to get the content when I can, and then I upload the shorts intermittent between trips and stuff. But unfortunately, I lost all that footage. Do I like bidding for flights? Yes, really. Yes, I love bidding for flights. I haven't flown an actual airplane in quite some time, though, so this is good. Help me get back in the swing of things here. Graphic designer for the fly-by-wire is top notch. I agree. I can even click the seats to select specific ones. Really? You keep typing the ICAO identifiers on the Navigraph page when you can just use the to and from. Oh, I didn't know that either. Really? So over here, he's saying. Oh, on the Navigraph? And then what if I click a seat? What? I don't know what I did there. Did I stop the boarding? I hope not. No, 130 of 160. They're coming on. I guess we should probably start the APU, shall we? Let's get the APU master on. It's a little warm today, Danny, but not too bad. Anything less than 105 I'm okay with right now. So let me take a look at it. It didn't seem all that bad this morning. It was pretty mild. Right now, where I am... Oh, yeah, it's only 95 outside, man. That's nothing. 96. Feels like 101 with 40% humidity. Man, it's about to get a jacket on over here. 95. All right, let's fire it up. Always take a good listen to these sounds right here. Love it. I can also check out alternate and direct loft. Probably not on this flight. Might not be the best for normal ops flight though. Yeah, Holland, that's cool. I will have. Hey, as this airplane progresses, absolutely, we're gonna check it out. We're gonna check out all the new features that come to this airplane. I would love to check it out. I spent last week? And then I actually had to go back. I told you guys my FO called out, right? And I had to do one part of my sim. Long story short, basically, because they couldn't find anybody to sit right seat for me, I ended up having a dequal, and then they had to put me back, and I had to go back in the sim again. So I feel like the last 3 weeks I've just done nothing but engine failures and V1 cuts and alternate law and stalls and all this good stuff. So I am fully prepped and ready to hit the line again. Do I use the remote McDo? Flicks, I do not. I don't use any remote McDo add-ons. I feel like that is a good way to have game crashes. I don't know why. But the one time I ever used a remote McDo, and it wasn't even for Microsoft, I believe it was in P3D, can't remember, and it was making my sim crash, just crash the desktop, no errors. I stopped using it, never had that problem again, never went back to it. I'm not saying that's a known issue with this airplane or with Microsoft. I'm just saying that's why I never really got into the remote McDo after I had all those bad experiences. Quinn says it's incredible you've not flown a plane during the pilot shortage. You should have some. You should have sent some nice, or some airlines do give their employees triple pay. Yeah, you know, that's really on the regional level. Oh, boarding completed. On the regional level, they're doing the triple pay stuff. Now, there is some airlines here in the U.S. doing double pay and stuff. But, like, man, don't believe everything you see in the news. I'll just tell you that right now. It's whatever you see in the news and mainstream media about airlines, 90% of it is garbage. So, unless you actively know somebody and you're talking to somebody in the industry, just don't believe what you hear on mainstream media. All right, boarding is completed, so I'm going to go ahead and disconnect.
From the flight deck. On behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer, and cabin crew, I'd like to take this time to welcome you aboard our flight. We're just wrapping up some paperwork up front here and waiting to receive final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having you aboard this flight. If there's anything we do to make your flight any more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard.
Man, that guy sounds like a real fake pilot, if you ask me. Pretty dang good. Pretty dang good. All right, so we've got that. Let's go ahead and get the EPU bleed on as well. We'll come back over here. Let's go to services. We can go ahead and pull the ground power now. Let's go ahead and pull the jet bridge. Let's go ahead and do all that. We're going to do a manual pushback as well. So we're going to go here. We're going to turn pushback system on, enable, confirm, call tug. Tug is coming over. Let's take care of a couple other checklists here. Let's go ahead and get the beacon light on. Is this a two-position switch? Okay,
Flight
good.
attendants, arm doors, and cross-check.
All right, arm doors and cross-check. They're going to close the door here most likely. Let's get a zero fuel weight CG. Boom. That looks good. Perf speeds. We're doing a flap 1 because we got terrain out here. I'm just guessing. 133, 137. We'll call it 125 for V1. 25, 33, 37, flaps 1, a yoga. You know what? I kind of want to do packs off too.
Once again, we'd like to welcome you on board.
I might do a packs off. We'll see.
We appreciate a few minutes of your attention while we demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft. You can follow along with the safety information.
Is that Elvis? It sure sounded like Elvis, Captain Elvis, didn't it?
Your seatbelt, insert the flat metal edge into the buckle and pull on the strap to tight. To release, just lift the top flap of the buckle.
Flicks, you've all made me your FO on the fly-by-wire. Chocks and cones come off with beacon? Really? I did not know that.
Your life vest. Your seat, if instructed by the crew, tear open the pouch, move the vest, and pull it over your head. Wrap the strap around your waist.
The Pimer says, I'm from Chile and you frequently fly on JetSmart. Awesome, dude. I was saying earlier, I love their call sign. Smart bird. All right, check this out. Let's go ahead and close the door. And then she gets muffled. Absolutely love it. All right, that is closed. Beacon is on. Windows, doors, and slides. They are closed. I'm not getting an arm yet. So what do I have to do to arm it? Let's actually come over here. Let's do this too, since I remember. We're gonna go 2000. Boom, boom. That is set. And we're gonna go backwards. All right, cockpit to ground. Ground cockpit. Tow connected, bypass pin inserted, ready for brake release. Copy. Brakes released. And let me get tiller cam up. Boom. I should have done that before I released the brakes. Clear to push. Let's see if those doors arm themselves. We're going to go backwards. Doors are not armed. Interesting. Seatbelt sign is on, though. All right. Captain Gio! What's up, man? Good to see you, dude. Paul, what's up? He says, if you're doing an RNAV approach, when you arm the approach, should you get the brick on the PFD? Yes, you should. You should get the brick, correct. Brick and the stick. The blue descent arrow. That's if you're using a final app strategy, or app nav strategy, to be technically correct. Chaos says you want the TCAS to be on TARA or else you will hear the prepare for takeoff announcement too early. You want the TCAS to not be on TARA. Oh, so I actually have to do it properly? All right, so we'll leave that on standby. That's on. We'll leave it. We'll do it proper, because I just did that for sim purposes, and that's the FO flow and whatever. But that's cool that if it's set up, we'll do it that way. Remember when I asked you about an interview? Well, I got the job starting ground school the 17th of November on the Dash 8-300, the Canadian. Well, congratulations, man. That is absolutely awesome. Fantastic to hear that. That is very exciting news, my friend. And congratulations on your job. I bet you're looking forward to ground school 17th of November, man. Awesome stuff. Very cool. Tony Johns, what's up, sir? He says, I haven't touched the fly-by-wire since I bought the Phoenix, but it looks like fly-by-wire are making up the gap. What do you think, boss? Hey, Tony Johns, you and me both, man. This is my first flight in quite some time on the fly-by-wire. The sounds have always been, I even think they are superior to the Phoenix as far as sounds goes. But yeah, they're definitely catching up, man. A lot of the features are there. All right, let's go ahead and pause. Beep. And go ahead and waiting for tug pin, push complete, set brakes. Brakes are set. Clear to disconnect. Show me the pin out front. We're going to start engine number 1, followed by 2. Copy that, Captain. Clear to start. Here we go. Let's go engine mode to ignition start. Enjoy the best startup sounds in the sim. Here we go. These sounds, bro. My teeth rattle right here. Literally, my teeth are rattling right there, and that fan comes up to speed there. Freaking awesome. God, I love it. Let's go ahead and start number 2 as well. Turn in 2. Hear the PTU kicked over there. Sim could sound be higher? Oh, my pleasure. Teeth rattling right here. Yep. Idioto, thank you so much, man. So it's pronounced Nayukan. Hopefully I'll say that correctly. Nayukan, that's the name of the city that it services. Absolutely. We are headed to Nayukan. All right, sounds like we got 2 good starts. Let's come up here. Yes, we do. We got 2 good avail lights. We'll go ahead and do that. We'll do that. Of course, we've got to listen to the flap extension. We're doing a flap 1. Sounds are so good, they're definitely worth going deaf over. I agree. Look at this lighting, too. It's going to be good. I sped the sim time up about 2 hours, I think. So I think it's 1 o'clock, or it's 2 o'clock, 2:30 in real time, and it's 3:30, I think, now. All right, so we got 2 good starts. That is done. Let's come up here. Let's go APU bleed off. Master switch can come off. And, yeah, I think we're ready to taxi. Yes, we are. Taxi light on. F-start checks engine anti-ice. Ooh, engine anti-ice on. Why is engine anti-ice on, you may ask? Well, we are below +10 on the TAT, and we have visible moisture or snow or contamination on the surfaces. So basically, why we turn the engine anti-ice on right here is as you're taxiing, you can suck up the snow, water, all that good stuff, and get sucked up in your engine here, and you can get little ice to collect on parts that it's not to collect on. More specifically, the T2 probe. Wow, look at that. Love that shot. Love the masking on the Neo. Is this what that called? Like that window cockpit mask? Love that look on this particular livery as well. All right, brakes are released. Engine anti-ice is on. Let's go ahead and come out to the left here. Also, it's not a good idea to single engine taxi on contaminated surfaces. Like, you know, if it really was this snowy on the ramp here, I wouldn't consider a single engine taxi. Flight 477, what's going on, man? Thank you for the $5 super chat, sir. He says, have you ever had occasions where your APU didn't start at the gate and you needed maintenance? Probably have. I don't know. Can't think of a specific one where it wouldn't start, but I can tell you one specifically that happened not too long ago. It's essentially the same thing. I had an APU auto shutdown at the gate. So we fired up the APU, we're sitting on APU power, and it just automatically shut down. So we couldn't start it. We had an APU start fault, and yeah, then we had to defer the APU. So it does happen. Flight Force definitely does happen indeed. Always a pain when you don't have an APU. Having that APU is just such a big help at the gate for all kinds. Not, you know, especially for engine starting. No one likes being in a hot cabin. Yeah, see the stutter I'm getting? That is from SimBridge. So we're gonna see how long this we'll put up with it. But that SimBridge, whenever I have that active, which is the terrain radar, I do get that stutter. No fancy wristwatch. Wish fake pilot. Hey man. I have to wear one in uniform. It's actually part of the uniform. What are your thoughts on the upcoming FlyByWire 380? Hey man, more the merrier. More the merrier. I'm just curious to see how many 380s we're gonna have going from like Atlanta to Orlando. Ought to be pretty interesting. Yeah, you see there was another stutter right there. 99% sure that's SimBridge. Ah, Flick says SimBridge is also for the remote McDo. Well, crossing fingers if the stream doesn't pan out. Alt F4. Flight Force, it happened to you on a flight from Boston to Jacksonville. Man, that sucks, dude. You got to sit there at the gate, no APU on. It's probably hot. Was it during the summertime? Was it like recently? That's the worst, you know, during the summertime, because when you go to start engines, you have to disconnect all ground air, right? You got to turn the packs off. And the cabin, the jet bridges, they just do not cool the cabin enough, especially in the summertime. Man, it's uncomfortable. I've seen those cabins get up to like 95 degrees here in the summer while we're starting an engine. I'm just like, we gotta get this engine started. It is live weather, FMA. This is a live weather. Live weather, and the time is fast forwarded 2 hours. So we get a little bit more of that sunset look instead of just a midday flying. All right, we'll hold short here, Alpha. We'll do all of our checks short of the runway. That looks good to me. And brakes set. Taxi light off. And let's do a flight control check. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. I think our trim was like 0.2 down. Whoa, a little bit too fast. There we go. 0.2 down is set. Auto brakes max. Takeoff config check. Radar PWS. TCAS TARA. Terrain on ND.
Please prepare for takeoff.
Juicy indeed. All right, let's go ahead and light it up. Here we go. Watch those wing lights come out there. Oh, gotta love it. Smash the like button for that. Look at that view. The sun setting. Not really setting, but just that little bit lower angle sun. Look at the shadow under this cloud here. Oh my God, this is the most beautiful country I've flown to. And honestly, I don't know what's more beautiful than flying down here in South America, man. The variety of scenery that you have, with whether it be terrain or just the cities nestled in on these coastlines, it's just stunning. Absolutely stunning. All right, guys. Al, you get stutters when you don't launch SimBridge. Maybe it's linked to the FlyByWire. Interesting, man. Interesting. All right, let's do a forward call. I never did seat them. They're seated. All right, are you guys ready? We've got 321 watching. We've got 144 likes. If you guys can get me to 175 before the chrono hits 15 seconds, I will go packs off full Toga. I will go packs off full Toga before this hits 15 seconds. If it doesn't, we got to flex. Oh, at 15 seconds, it was 182. You guys are savages. All right, let's do it. We're going to do a packs off takeoff. Packs off. Here we go. Full Toga. Guys, I'm going to put it right here. Enjoy the spool up sounds. Here we go. Spool them up 50. Yoga. Golly. Oh, man, Toga SRS and nav auto thrust is blue. Wow, we're already 100 knots. Check. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Fly with. Goodbye, Balmaceda. It's been a blast coming down here. An absolute blast flying down here. Northbound we go. We are just ripping. That's with engine anti-ice on too. Alright, there's our positive trend in airspeed. Let's go ahead and walk it back a little bit. Thrust, climb, climb, auto thrust. Take a look and say goodbye to Balmaceda Airport. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you for paving the runway for us. It has been a pleasure. Let's see if we can get back on it here. Now it says it will intercept. Whoa. Let me reset the terrain. Interesting. Flap 0. I think we can turn the sim down a little bit now, don't you? That might be a SimBridge issue. Oh yeah, we gotta get our packs on. Pack 1 on. Start the clock. You can hear the air. There we go. Now it looks like it's coming back a little bit. That looks normal there. That's peaks mode. 4,700 feet is the highest terrain depicted. But yeah, it is. It's giving me. It's not even like bad frames. It's just like a stutter. Pack 2 can come back on. Now let's go ahead and clean up the line here. Let's go direct to Opura insert. This is the experimental. The latest, I believe it's the latest experimental version. I just updated it before the stream, actually. Seems to be working good now. We're 9,000, climbing up to 370. Just enjoying some views here. Just hand flying nicely. Look at those clouds. But yeah, every now and then I get that, like, just that stutter. Not quite sure. I would imagine that's part of the SimBridge issue. We'll go ahead and pull for standard. STDs for you, me, and the jumpsuiter. 1, 2, 3 is set. Zoom it out a little bit. Now let's see if the terrain, yeah, it does change. So, all right, that's actually pretty cool to see that. It's properly functioning. Since it's pretty straight here, I'm going to just go autopilot 1 on for now. I want to show you something here on peaks, on the peaks mode. So basically the Phoenix, if you think about the Phoenix, let me get this off the screen here real quick too. The Phoenix version of terrain does not include peaks mode. It gives you a nice display though of the terrain, which is kind of like the older version of the terrain. But this down here in the bottom right corner means that we have peaks mode installed. Basically what this does is it tells you the highest elevation point on the ND and the lowest measured elevation point on the ND at the selected ND range. So if you change your range and you change out where the highest terrain was, see how it changed, 61 to 3,000 now? That goes dependent upon your ND range, which is cool to see that. That is 100% correct to the real thing and working as intended. Blue is also water, cyan, or yeah, blue is also water. And is that, it's not magenta, is it? No, it's blue, yeah. Blue, magenta, if there was any pink on here, it would mean that it is an area that is not within the terrain database and it has no terrain information for. But it's just kind of cool to see that they do have that indeed implemented and working correctly. That's kind of a cool shot right there, just coming up over the clouds. But let's go ahead and continue to clean up the airplane here. We don't need any more engine anti-ice. We are on top of it all. We'll go ahead and get all of our lights in here. Let's enjoy some of these views as we climb away. But it is indeed working correctly with the peaks mode. So I don't know what, I think obviously it's still a work in progress. I believe SimBridge can have some issues sometimes connecting and whatnot. I don't know what that big green thing was when we first took off. But as of right now, it does seem to be working correctly to the real aircraft. And when you talk about peaks mode and you talk about the, why is it important that the range changes, or does it even, is that even a good feature? Does that even matter? Let me tell you something. As someone who has flown over the mountains of South America at night, okay, and I mean by nighttime, I mean like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I actually have I've been in a scenario, I wasn't a captain at the time when I was an FO, where we had a situation where if it progressed, we would have to do an emergency descent. And yes, there's many different ways of knowing where you are, and you'll always have, we call them like a South America depressurization routes and all that stuff. You know where the high terrain is, but there's something to be said about being able to back yourself up, say, hey, we got an emergency descent here. What is the highest terrain that I'm at right now? And I can zoom my range out and I can see, well, highest terrain depicted down there is 6,300 feet. Now remember, that is the terra firma at 6,300. So put 2,000 feet on that, say, I can go all the way down to 8,300 and we're safe. So there is a huge, it is a big comfort factor, and it helps you double check and back up what you should already know as far as the terrain below you. So peaks mode is definitely a neat feature on the Airbus. I'm pretty sure all of the ones that I fly in our fleet are all equipped with peaks mode. Pretty much every Airbus coming off the line right now also has peaks mode installed. I think it is a standard option now due to like there was a couple instances with terrain that, you know, Airbus changed it from the basic terrain mode that we used to have to with EGPWS now in peaks. So I think it comes on all the new airplanes. I'm sure there are some airplanes somewhere flying around that do not have it installed, but as far as new airplanes getting them, yeah, they're all out there. And it's nice to have, 100% nice to have. Let me turn the sim down just a little bit more. Max Rank coming in here with a $2 super chat. What are you doing, Mr. Ramper? Good to see you. Says Ramper's flying again. Fake pilot live. Max, I saw your Air Force 2, 3, 4, whatever it was on that 737 that you were flying earlier, man. I'm not sure why you're flying a 737 on those screenshots, but they looked freaking awesome. Glad you have joined the future of simulation and come over to the dark side. But always a pleasure, man. Thank you for your support. Hope all is well with you, and glad to have you on board, man. Welcome. Chris Scott says, how is it going? I have a question. What country does JetSmart operate? They operate Chile, and I believe they actually fly in and out of Balmaceda, which we just took off out of, and I believe they also fly into, somebody said it, say Neuquén? Am I saying that right? So I'm not saying they fly this exact route, but they do operate in and out of these airports, so pretty cool to see that. But yeah, here we go. So you can see our terrain depicted, 6,500, lowest terrain, 3,200 feet. We're about to make a right turn to right turn out of here. That looks good. We're still climbing out beautifully. Engine anti-ice is off. Gotta love it, man. Romulus says, you have me flying in South America now. Did Colombia into Chile last night. Bogota to Lima. Ooh, in the Phoenix. Romulus. Excellent, man. Dude, South America is the most unrepresented gem in flight simulation, I think. Now I say that, and I think I saw XP is also flying in South America today, and Q8 Pilot is flying in South America today. So maybe the message is out now. It's not so secret, but I just want to, full disclosure, I was the first one that gave appreciation to South America. No, I'm just messing. But it truly has been eye-opening to myself, and just for simming in general. I mean, the amount, like we always talk about the Lowy approaches. We always talk about a lot of stuff there in Greece. There's some really cool approaches. Corfu. There's some fantastic flying to be had in Europe. You know, there's some cool flying in the U.S. If I had a rank, you know, let's say rank 3 areas of the world to fly in with the best areas of the world to fly in, top 3. And let's say your options were Europe, South America, North America. In my opinion, it would be South America number 1, Europe is number 2, and North America number 3, just because of the sheer amount of variation you have down here on this South American continent. I mean, you could do everything from NDB circling approaches on the coastline to short RNP approaches through the mountains and some of the highest mountains in the world. Just unbelievable. Trendsetter V1 Aviator Trav, what's up, man? Quinn says, I never thought that you almost had to perform an emergency descent. Was it caused by a pressurization issue? Yeah, so we didn't do an emergency descent, but what we had was we had a CPC. So basically the Airbus has 2 pressure controllers, and one of them had failed, and the other one was acting up. Now, the problem that we were facing was it was more of it was like a valve issue. So basically we were holding pressure just fine, but we were always thinking ahead, right? So if you have 2 cabin pressure controllers, you've got redundancy. If you have one, you're fine, but what is a good aviator always doing? We're always preparing for the next step. So what if the second one fails? What do we do now? Where are we going to descend to? If we lose cabin pressure now, we got to do emergency descent. Where are we going? So even though you're totally fine with one CPCS or one pressurization system or one engine, you are always thinking worst case scenario, where do you go? And let me tell you, when it's massive thunderstorms, 3:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and there's nobody out there, trust me, you are thinking worst case scenario, because if you don't, that's how you end up in a really bad situation. So always got to be prepared for the worst, but you hope for the best. And yeah, essentially it was more or less a non-event. But that actually, now that I think about it, it'd be a good podcast thing to discuss. That's why I like doing these streams too, is you guys ask me questions that brings up stuff that I thought I talked about or I've completely forgot about in my career, and then you guys say something in chat, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember a time when, or I remember when. JetSmart flying Argentina, Chile, and Peru. Very cool. Max says, I'm practicing with the prehistoric 7.3 in prep for the triple. I'll be flying that a lot when it drops. Oh yeah, the 777, I think that might be one of the most sought after airplanes, I think, to come in Microsoft, that 777. Upon depressurization, if your oxygen fails, would you set the autopilot to expedite descent to 10K, or are you always supposed to try and fly manually? Flight level 350 has a ruck of only 15 to 30. Very. Something of useful consciousness. What does the R stand for? I haven't seen that acronym. Oh gosh. I know useful consciousness is UC. I can't think of what the R. I'm drawing a blank, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So, well, here's the thing: if your oxygen fails, you're screwed pretty much up front. Now, of course, depending on where you're sitting, you might have 2 oxygen masks, but that's why the oxygen mask or the oxygen is always part of your pre-flight check, right? You should have oxygen. You check it on the ground, you check it in your pre-flight. Here on the Neo, we have 2 oxygen bottles in the cockpit. This is different for if you look at the Phoenix or if you look at the TOLUS non-Neo aircraft. You only have 1 oxygen bottle up here for the flight crew. In the Neo, we have 2. If it were to fail, which I've never heard of it happening, I'm not saying it could fail, it could. Yes, you're going to be in a world of hurt. Now, there's other ways to get oxygen. You have portable oxygen behind the seat, depending on your configuration. You have oxygen bottles that the flight attendants can use. But yes, what you need to do is you need to initiate an emergency descent. Time of useful consciousness. There we go. T. Okay, that sounds better. TUC. if you have any depressurization issue, the very first step in a memory item is oxygen mask on. So any type of depressurization, whether it be explosive or a cabin warning, anytime you need to initiate emergency descent, the first item on that checklist is oxygen mask on, right here. You put them on, you want to establish communication with your co-pilot or vice versa, and then we initiate the descent. Good question, no memory item. So let's say we have emergency descent right now. Oxygen mask on, signs on, emergency descent initiate. You could use the expedite push button. Typically it's not really trained. It depends on who trains you. But the best way to initiate it is you want to set a safe altitude, so MEA on your airway or lower, depending on where you are. Remember that terrain considerations come into effect. You know, right now, if we had one, and I've been in a hyperbaric changer where they've simulated an explosive decompression, first thing that happens is it's a whiteout. You instantly go from seeing everything to zero visibility because of the condensation. So you're going to be startled. Get your mask on. You got to get the airplane started down. What altitude am I going to go to? I don't know if I'm going to go all the way down to what does it say? So this is 6,600. I could go to 8,600. I don't know what the MEA is, but I know I want to at least start down. So I'm probably going to set 10,000 feet here because 10,000 feet is above the terrain on my peaks mode, right? It's a real quick and dirty way of finding out what is the highest terrain below me. I can always adjust it by the time we've started the descent. The whole purpose is getting the aircraft pointed in the right direction, which is down. So you would spin in, I'd spin in 10,000 feet here, and then I would pull for an open descent. Pulling for an open descent basically says you're going to fly your selected Mach number or managed Mach number and all the way down. What I was trained and what I do in the sim is I pull, and then I pull this, and I spam spin it up with like, rip it up. It doesn't matter if it goes to 8.5, it doesn't matter if it goes to 9.0. The aircraft will maintain 330 or 8.0 Mach depending on where you're at. It just gives you that maximum speed for the descent, which essentially is the same thing if you were to use the expedite push button, but I was just turned to spin, pull, spin, and then you can either leave them in climb, because if the auto thrust is on, what is the airplane going to do? It's going to bring thrust to idle, or you can manually deselect the thrust levers and put them in the idle detent, and then speed brakes to full. The problem with putting the auto thrust off and putting it into the idle detent, why yes, it may get your thrust to idle quicker. If you are distracted running a checklist and you're talking through an O2 mass and you're in the weather and you're deviating from the airway, what happens when you level off at that altitude and the auto thrust is still off? Well, now you got the auto thrust off, the speed breaks out, everyone's confused, and you have a potential to put yourself in a bad situation. Now with the Airbus, it's going to protect you theoretically, normal law won't let you stall, but you get where I'm going. You're a level flight, power is idle, speed brakes are out. At some point, V alpha protections are going to kick in, or if you're an alternate law, you could stall the aircraft. So you got to be careful about turning the auto thrust off. Again, that comes to situational awareness, knowing, where you are, what's your terrain clearance, all that good stuff. So there's a lot of factors that go into it, but I would probably just leave the auto thrust on because it's going to roll back to idle as soon as you pull for open descent anyway. I have a sneaky suspicion that Africa will be the next world update. There are already many hidden gems on the south and west coasts already, but there's a world of epic waiting to be unleashed. Ben G, I'm looking, you know what? I don't know where our next tour will be. Heck, by the time we finish the South America tour, we might be at 30K, which means we might have to set up for another tour. We are 36 for 37, 1,000 to go. So we might have to set up for another tour at 30K. I do not know where we would go yet, but we'll have to see. If you guys want to see another tour, if you like this kind of flying, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Do appreciate it. Every single subscription helps. Very much appreciated. Speed brakes would have been your second question. Yep, yeah, it's all part of it's part of your memory items. Antarctica? Oof, that's a long way. I feel like the 320 should have an auto descent feature in case of depressurization. 350 does. The 350 sure does. At some point, pilots need to be pilots, though, right? Max Parks asks, when you take over from the autopilot on approach from a certain distance or altitude? Max, that will depend solely on, number one, your operator's specifications, so your SOPs. Some operators require you to keep the autopilot on. Now, that happens a lot in foreign carriers, and when I say foreign, I mean a lot of the carriers in the Asian theater, specifically in China as well. Matter of fact, the first officer that I had that flew the 350, he was saying that the autopilot...
Gentlemen, once again, FlightTech, your captain speaking. We've just reached our cruising altitude for the flight. As it gets settled in, I just want to remind you to please keep your feet and elbows clear from the aisle as the flight attendants will be coming through the cabin with galley carts shortly. Also, one more reminder to please refrain from congregating in the front galley where the flight deck door is located. Thank you.
So, I'm going to turn this down a little bit here as well. Get that off the yellow bar. So, depending on your operator, like what the FO was telling me, is like, yeah, they actually wanted you to keep the autopilot on until 500 feet, even in day VMC. They just did not trust the pilots enough to fly the airplane, and a lot of them, they don't have, you know, shoot, they may have 10 years of flying the airplane, but they have only 50 hours, and that 50 hours consists of 7 minutes from takeoff to autopilot on, and then 500 feet and landing. Now, for me personally, what I do, I hand fly. Well, luckily, where I work, I mean, you have the freedom to pretty much hand fly wherever you want, obviously, except not in RVSM airspace. But I always make it a point that on the last trip, on the last leg of any trip, I'll turn the autopilot and auto thrust off anywhere from 10,000 feet down to, I don't know, maybe outside the final approach fix, depending on the workload and the scenario, of course. If it's super low visibility, super high congestion of air traffic, I'm not going to turn the autopilot off at 10,000 feet and hand fly. Now, you could, but my whole premise behind at least getting one good hand-flown approach every single trip is in the event that you're flying along and, oh, guess what? Autopilot is deferred. Autopilot is in op, and you need to hand fly. It is a perishable skill. Stick and rudder is a perishable skill that must be maintained. And that's, you talk about all the automation. We should have airplanes that do this, this, and this, and this, and this. Basically, at the end of the day, it's like you're going to have airplanes that do everything for you and no pilots to fly them, because the pilots are just going to be sitting up there doing nothing, which a lot of it already is there. So you got to be careful what you wish for. Do you hand fly R and PAR approaches? That would be completely dependent upon the approach and the operator. Do I still fly GA airplanes, or do you prefer other expensive hobbies? Javier, I do not fly any GA aircraft. My expensive hobby consists of fishing. I do a lot of fishing. I've got my own boat, so that is plenty expensive for me, my friend. And kids. I have kids. Also expensive. All right, let's go direct to NEUVOR. We're going to straighten out the line. Boom. That's where we're going to start the approach anyway here, but look at this. Oh, this is cool. Oh, yeah, look at that view. Turning away from the terrain now. Gotta love it. This is getting me in the mood for wintertime. Boom. All right, back inside here. We're going to park it outside as well. Let's take care of a few things. Up in cruise, you don't need terrain on ND anymore. We'll go ahead and turn that off. Smooth ride. We'll go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign off. We're cruising at 7.8 Mach. Let's bump these up. Rookie numbers. Not going to give me any more juice? No? How about 99? No? Alright, that's fine. We'll fly at 7.8 Mach. Plenty of gas. 82% on the N1s. We're looking good. Let's park it outside. The amount of juice in that shot, I know, on that turnover. Just crazy, man. I don't know where to park it. I guess we could park it right here. Ooh, that's good. Let's turn the sim down. Oh, I didn't even turn it off. We'll turn the sim down about there. Come over here. We'll get sounds on to about here. That might be too loud. That's going to be way too loud. Let's turn that down. Let's see what kind of music we got on the playlist today. I'm trying to set the audio at 1. Come on now. Yes, sir. We are on the way, folks. Hey, Skipper, will you pass over Brazil airports before leaving South America? Absolutely, Gustavo. In fact, the next flight is going to be Nyokin, SAZN, where we're headed to SABE. Let me try to remember what that one is. I have a scenery for it. Looks really good. It is, I'm sure you know what it is. Jorge Newberry? Is that Aero Park International? Jorge Newberry. That's in Argentina. And then from there, we're going to go northbound along the eastern coast. So basically from Newberry up, I think we're going to go to, what's this? Afonso? I don't know. We'll have to think of some airports. Basically all the way up the eastern coastline of South America. And yeah, eventually we're going to hit Rio de Janeiro and all the good stuff, man. All the good stuff. Buenos Aires, yes. Christian, yes, we are going clubbing, man. You know all about that. Welcome. Key6 says, I won an Orbix product, and you convinced me to get the ugly-ass 310, so I'll be ready for the next members flight. Key6, awesome stuff, man. I miss my 310. I was flying that 310 a lot, like almost after every stream. I was in the members-only section of the Discord and flying the 310 around, but I've just been so busy lately, it's been hard to do. But yes, the 310 is a fantastic twin prop. Love it. Also, one thing I need to check out is that Chancellor 414. I've had it since basically they had released the public beta for purchase, and I stopped flying it because it needed a lot of work, and I haven't flown it since it's been updated to the release version, so I want to check that out too. Aero Park de Argentina LaGuardia. Let me know some terrible places for landing in Brazil. There are a few. Excellent, Gustavo. I'm going to be looking for that as well, man. Going to be looking for it as well. Question, on the FCOM, there's any procedures for pilot monitoring and pilot flying? Juliet Lima, yes. Basically, Airbus lists out every procedure, normal and abnormal, depicted between pilot flying and pilot monitoring. So that is how they decipher who's doing what, PM, PF. Now, some airlines, they can tailor that, right? So Airbus puts out their FCOM book. And depending on where you work, they may take that FCOM, they may change it. They may change it to an SOP. They may change the way some things are written. They may change some things on the checklist to customize to their company ops. But in general, yes, Airbus pushes out the FCOM with PF and PM. I'm flying the Phoenix right now. Do you know of any good way to simulate wind shear? No, I do not. Do not know a way of simulating wind shear. That's another thing. I had... So on one of the cockpit confessionals I'm going to do, we had a pretty nasty wind shear again. I think I've talked about two. I had two in my life up until this year that have been pretty vivid in my memory. I think I've talked about one already. But I had another one that was pretty gnarly. That was last month or so, and I lost a lot of the stuff on my phone that I had from it. But yeah, I don't know how to simulate it in the sim, but wind shear is nasty, man. Wind shear is one of those things that when I start seeing wind shear just like actively being reported, the hairs on the back of my neck start to stand up, only because I've been through two that were really like eye-raising, and then the other one was sketchy, but not as sketchy as the first one. Good evening, H. Martin. Good to see you, man. I'm excited to see you. Will stop by in Sao Paulo. Yes, absolutely. So what we have to do is, if you guys remember, when the PMDG first released, I flew the Gull, which is, I think, my favorite 737 livery in South America with the dark gray engines. It's got like that orange shoe on it. Really cool. We did an approach, I believe it was into Rio, right? I think we flew into Rio at sunrise. We were doing that approach all the way around that RNP that comes around the corner like that. While the sun was rising, it was at that moment on that stream that I realized this is the sim for me, and I basically put the parking brake on X-Plane 11 until 12 drops. So what I want to do is recreate that same exact flight, same time in the Phoenix, because I said during that approach, I said, hey, Phoenix better bring it, because this is one of the best moments I've had in a simulator, and it was in the PMDG 7.3. So we're going to take the Phoenix to the same exact approach at the same time. We're going to see if it surpasses what we experienced on that flight. Shaq Oatmeal, what's up, man? Have I ever ran into a microburst? Yeah, so that's what happened to me last month, Shaq. Pretty nasty. So we were landing. Basically, the gist of the story is we were coming in. First off, there was no weather, right? The whole flight, nothing, clear in a million. Basically turning a final. I say turning final, but it was a really far extended final. We're coming in DFW. I mean, we were still probably 30 miles out from the airport, but they had us like kind of vectoring in off the arrival. And we turn facing the airport, and I see two massive, I mean absolutely massive, what are those called? Supercells, thunderstorms. One on each side of the airport, one on the east side, one on the southwest side. And they're moving, the one on the northeast side of the airport is moving southwest, and we're landing to the north. So basically it's coming in right to left. And we end up going around off that one, coming around again for a second one. Pretty sketchy on the second one as well. And I'm going to leave that for the podcast for the members only. But yeah, it was definite microburst situation and pretty sketchy, man. I don't mess with microbursts. The power of weather, I think pilots in general that maybe who have never experienced the brute force of Mother Nature really give it its full respect, and they should. Every pilot should respect Mother Nature, and I think every good pilot does. But until you've really been at the mercy of Mother Nature, it's scary because you realize everything that you've got, all the power in the airplane, everything you got is not enough. It doesn't care. Mother Nature is a savage beast when she wants to be. I talked about that first podcast. I think I talked about the one in Indianapolis. I kind of basically could tell you here now since it's already been on the members only for a while. But we went around in a wind shear, kind of a microburst scenario as well, and full power, full Toga thrust, a light Embraer. We were still descending, and we were sub 200 feet probably from hitting buildings. So, I mean, that might sound like a lot to you, 200 feet, but let me tell you, when you're in a commercial jet at full Toga thrust, and which in the Embraer, it's ADX TO1, basically max takeoff, and you're still descending, it is not a good feeling. So, yeah, so anyway, got the popcorn shack. Aaron Basso and, oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher this one, Michelin. I'm sorry. Thank you for joining the channel. Welcome, !welcome for your new perks here on the channel. Gives you some more information about what you got here on the V1 After Dark section of the Discord, the V1 After Dark members only content. So welcome on board. Glad to have you guys. All right, what else we got? What else we got here? I know Christian loves his club music. Let me see if I can find some more for you. Last week, I had a nasty storm that made a C-17 shake, rattle, and roll into a go-around. Mother Nature is no joke. Yeah, Shaq, it does. I mean, no matter what airplane you're in, it does not care. Balichin, I've definitely been slacking on getting the podcast out, but since you're a new member, you have all of the old ones you can still listen to. The first bit, basically how the podcasts were structured, basically the first bit we talked about the X-plane, or we talked about Airbus versus Boeing, and then there was some sim-specific stuff. The sim-specific stuff will be out of date, but at the very end of each podcast is always the same thing. It's the cockpit confessional. That's where you hear about personal stories of myself. But I'm really sorry I've been slacking on those guys. I want to tell you what I got going on behind closed doors here, but I can't yet. What are ways to find a microburst and how to escape it? Well, a microburst, that depends on what type of aircraft you're in. Most modern radars can tell you. They give you a wind shear head, predictive wind shear. Airbus has both predictive wind shear, depending on the radar equipped in the aircraft. There's two different radars. I think there already are like 400, and then there's another one. But depending on the equipment in the aircraft, you can detect it through there. You can see it visually. Basically, you'll see those big rain shafts coming down in front of you. Isolated, heavy rain shafts in an isolated area. And how you fly away from it, you go around it. But yeah, if you get stuck in one of those, I mean, it brought down, when we didn't know about microbursts as a whole, as aviation as a whole, you know, back in the day, the L1011 going into DFW took down an L1011, guys. Full power. I mean, you think the Embraer Airbus is powerful? L1011, powerful airplane, full power, pushed it into the dirt. And the pilots technically did everything right from the get-go. I mean, they might have been you couldn't even say they were late on what they did. I mean, they added full power, and they were trying to fly away from it, and they couldn't. So, yeah, Delta 191. So it just does not care what kind of power you got. V1 slacking simulations. Oh, jeez. Christian, you're savage, bro. Let's face it, Mother Nature has pretty much destroyed everything, every man-made thing, or everything man has made at one time or another. Yeah, you're not wrong, Romulus. You're not wrong at all, man. Look at the levees failing in New Orleans. Look at just everything, man. It's when it want, like, we can think that we are, you know, creating some really strong stuff, but man, when it wants to, no match. No match. How do you convert RVR to statute miles? You know, typically on the chart, there'll be a little conversion, or it'll be listed both. It'll be like half mile or 1800 RVR. I used to know them off the top of my head, but I just look at the chart. Sorry, that's not a real technical answer for them, but maybe someone in the chat will have the actual formula for you. But most of the time, when you look at approach plates, they'll either have an RVR published or they'll have a statute mile published. And I think we even have in one of the books that we have for company, we have a conversion chart. Basically, has all your conversions for weights, temperatures, RVRs. It's not something that I've committed to memory. Too much stuff to memorize, man. What are my opinions on the TCA stuff? Are you talking about like the Thrustmaster TCA equipment? You know, obviously I don't use much of the TCA stuff. I think the only TCA stuff I use now, I like this view better with the sun, is the Boeing yoke. I think the TCA Boeing yoke is a great product. It's pretty expensive for what you get as far as tactile feel-wise. However, the inner workings of the TCA Boeing yoke are phenomenal. I think it's game-changing in how they designed the pendular motion. Really good. Now, as far as the Airbus TCA stuff, my personal opinion, it's not for me. I mean, you can get away with it if you just want to, you know, just get in and put it in the detent and go flying. And I'll give them credit. The stick is set up so if you just have the TCA Airbus stick, you can modify what side you want to use, what hand you want to use on it. You have a couple extra push buttons on there, and you even have a little throttle axis on the base. So it'll get the job done for the average simmer, but for someone who wants more or someone who really wants to invest in hardware to mimic the real thing, it's not very realistic at all. So. Do you think Air Force One will get to a different plane or paint job? No idea, man. No idea. All right, we have to look here. I just want to plan my top of descent because I don't trust top of descent on this airplane. So let's go ahead and pull up our arrival. We're going to do the VOR 27. So basically, we got to cross the VOR at 6,000 feet. Let's do a little math here. So we're at 37,000 feet. We want to cross the VOR at 6,000 feet to start the VOR approach. So 6 minus 37 is 31. Take 31 times 3, that's 93. Give myself an extra 10 miles to slow up. Actually, let me give myself 20 miles to slow up. So 93 plus 20, and that's just an arbitrary 20 I'm throwing at you. That would be 113. Let's just say 115 miles out. We're going to start down. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come to the fix info page. And I'm going to put NEQ. And I'm going to put 115 radius. That way, when we fly into... oh, I'm sorry. That's the wrong fix. NEU. NEU. Let me delete it. This one here. And a 15-mile radius. Ah, geez, 115. Third time's the charm. There we go. You could see that's our TOD point that I'm going to make. Now, in a real airplane, you could go ahead and click this again, and it would insert a waypoint. Haha, that's funny. It says not yet implemented. But if you were to click that at the real airplane again, it would drop a waypoint, PBD01, right here. PBD stands for point bearing distance. 01 meaning it's the number 1 PBD that you've created. And then you can actually put an altitude there as well. But that's just a mental note for us. So it looks like we're about 75 miles before we need to start down and start prepping the aircraft for our VOR approach. So in the meantime, let's sit back, relax, and enjoy some more JetSmart. I don't know which side to look at, man. I really like looking at the sun. Whoa, what happened there? Ooh, that's kind of cool. Smart bird. Would you say the TCA feels good quality or a bit cheapy? It's light plastic. I'm going to say that. It feels like light plastic. Still don't understand why the approach would disappear from the McDo ND after go around. Nick DE. So I think I saw your question earlier. You were saying you were flying over the airport on a missed approach and the flight plan dropped out. Depending on the FMS software and version that is in the Airbus, this is real behavior. And in fact, I'm pretty sure this happened to me on that flight I was just talking about where we went around and we flew directly over the airport. So what happens is when you fly directly over your destination, the airplane thinks, okay, we're already there, boom, we're done. If you do not cycle the mist, and it will drop out the rest of your flight plan. And I forget the exact specs. I think it's like if you fly within so many miles of the reference point or something like that. I'd have to look it up in the book. But basically that is real behavior. That your primary flight plan will drop out. You have nothing in the box. There's a couple different ways to remedy this. You'll have like a P-pause fix or something. You can either go hit align select key 1 and then just drop in new destination. I'm going to see if I can show you that here. So you can hit line select key 1 and it say new destination, and you just put in the destination that you want to land at. So if you were going into DFW, you went around, it dropped out, you can just put DFW back in here. Or if you're being proper, and if you're in the Phoenix, take advantage of this function, we always back up the secondary, right? So we may have the ILS, the 3.5 center in the primary flight plan. I'm either going to copy that into my secondary just as a backup, or I'll put in a different runway. Maybe I'll put 3.5 right. But at the very least, you should always copy your active in the secondary. That way, should that happen, you could just pull heading, activate secondary, and you've got your whole flight plan back. So those are the two ways that you can fix that when your flight plan drops out. But it's not necessarily a bug. I believe the Phoenix is simulating it correctly. Rex Royce says maybe some SoCal citation ops when you're done with the tour. CJ4 with the working title mod is very good. Oh yeah, Rex. Here's the thing. I never thought I would say this, but I miss doing some North America flying, man. I miss flying into our good old North America, SNA, San Diego. West Coast needs some love. I feel like the West Coast needs some love. Recently we did that PMDG flight on the East Coast up to DC, but man, we got a nice Airways livery that's out now. America West, I think we need to do a Phoenix. We're either going to do a members only 737 flight tomorrow, going from like Phoenix to San Jose in the old America West livery in the 600, which will be my pseudo 400 737, or we'll do a public stream in the Phoenix, South America. We'll have to see what happens. When is Flightbeam Phoenix coming out? Oh man, I can't wait for it. I don't know. Douglas Phillips, welcome. Yes, it is. This is the latest experimental version of the FlyByWire mod. Correct. Have I flown the Mad Dog lately? I have not, Rex. I'm out of principle. I'm not flying the Mad Dog. I I don't know. I have nothing wrong with everyone who wants to fly the Leonardo Mad Dog. It's just not in a position to me where I want to fly that airplane. I don't think it's worth the price. I hate to say that. I don't think it was worth. I'm going to take that back. I don't like the way it was pushed out to take advantage of the consumer. It was not up to Microsoft 2020 standards, in my opinion. Yes, it has some very, very detailed systems, which is fantastic. I will fly it at some point, but I just not recently, man. I mean, it's I don't know. I tried to update it the other day, or like, I don't know, probably a couple weeks ago now, and it would just crash my sim, and then you have to go on the support forum and all this crap. It's so archaic. The way that they want to do business with that airplane, I just can't. I can't, unfortunately. I'm very much looking forward to the Fokker from Just Flight, though. Very much looking forward to the Fokker from Just Flight. I prefer to see a working Salt Lake before Phoenix. And Sky Harbor is your home airport. Tony Johns, really? Tony? I didn't know Phoenix or Sky Harbor was your home airport. I love Sky Harbor, man. Salt Lake, yeah, Salt Lake needs some love. Definitely. Burbank to SFO in a 320. Ooh, yeah. All right, almost there. We'll enjoy a few more views here. Ooh, that's a cool shot. Archaic, just like the plane. Exactly, Kevin Thomas. Exactly. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I had a lot of high hopes for it. I really did, and it's a good airplane. Like it's got some really good simulation. But as a community content creator, in my opinion, I feel like that airplane came out to take advantage of the consumer, and I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't like that. Left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not saying it's a bad airplane though, like because what it can do, the way it's simulated, I'd say it's more in depthly simulated than the. Rotate. So, I'm not saying it's a bad airplane at all. 100% Leonardo pushed to open beta without any true commitment to the user. Even PMDs did it better. Yeah, Gustavo, that's a great way to put it. Are you prepared for 6 months of anguish watching your Cowboys? Blue Bear, why you gotta, please, man. Hey, look, it's gonna be a good year. We're going to the Super Bowl, man. This is the year. This is our year, Blue Bear. I'm telling you. No, I don't know, dude. It's gonna be awful. I'm not ready. I am ready. I cannot wait for football to start. Honestly, I get super excited. We're coming into my favorite time of the year. I actually just bid for my September schedule, and September kickoff. It's my birthday. I actually have a vacation planned in September as well. So I'm getting super pumped for this time of year. But yes, I am prepared to be let down every Sunday. And I'm ready. I'm getting ready, man. The Leonardo helps me get disappointed with the Cowboys. If the Dallas Cowboys could be an add-on, it would be the Leonardo MD-80. I would put it that way. Great talent, run like crap. Is the vacation in Patagonia coming together? Link Space, hey man, it may be coming together sooner than I thought, my friend. Dallas will not rise from the ashes until Jerry is ashes. Fubar, you're not wrong, buddy. You're not wrong. Football already started. Hand egg starts later. Oh, please, get away from me with that hand egg, my friend. Get away from me with that hand egg, Christian. I'm talking real football with real ratings that people actually watch. Shots fired. I know there's a lot of football viewers, so nothing personal. I'm just a stupid American that likes hand egg, right? All right, here we go. We got to top a descent. We're going to set 6,000 up here in the window. Let's get together and let's start prepping for our VOR approach, which we're actually going to have to circle. So it should be fun. Mock descent. We're coming down to 6,000 feet. It is in terrain, so we'll go ahead and get terrain mode on. Let's enter destination data. Before we do that, let's print off some new weather. And I don't need all this stuff. I just need season. I just like saying season. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you may have noticed, we have begun our initial descent down to our destination. Now would be a good time to wrap up any business you need to take care of as we prepare for approach. If you are up, once you return to your seat, we ask that you remain seated until the aircraft arrives safely at the gate. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
Max rank, real football is played with the feet, not the hands. Max, hey, listen, if you're going to live in America, my friend, you must assimilate. No, get out of here with that soccer talk. Go back to the ramp. I need a marshaller. All right, we're starting down. We got our weather. Let's go receive messages. Print it off. I love watching it print. I don't know why. It's just the most this is the most stupidly satisfying thing in the sim. Like, this is just so cool. The way it prints out and the way it curves around perfectly like the real thing. I just wish they had the sound. Boris, where you at, man? I'm going to record. Here's the thing. Boris, if I record myself ripping this paper off, it makes a very distinct rip because there's a lot of like micro serrated edges right. It's like a... If I record that and send it to you, can you implement that every time you pull the paper off? You get the rip sound? That's the only thing missing. All right, approach data, VOR 27, QNH down there. We've got 10:15 on the meter. Temperature is a 9er. And winds are 320 at 8. So we have a little bit of crosswind from the right. We'll take that into account when we look at our circling approach. The barrel reference for us, we are straight in landing on runway 27. I don't need this anymore. Let's go ahead and... Oh no, what did I do? I thought I could close you. I want to go full screen? No. This one. There we go. Zoom in, zoom in. Well, not that far. All right, 1650. Now here's a note. So we've talked about, a long time ago, we've talked about MDAs and DAs. Quick refresher. They are different. MDA is a minimum descent altitude. So it is a barometric altitude that we're going to put in our barometric minimums. And depending on your operator, you may have a requirement to add 50 feet. Now, pretty common practice here in the US that whenever you have an MDA, you add 50. The way I remember this is MDA must do addition. So 1650 plus 50 is 1700. If you have just a DA or a decision altitude, which is also a barometric minimum, you do not have to do an additive. But because we have an MDA, we are going to use our additive of 50 feet, which will give us 1700. The H and the parenthesis altitude here, that is corresponding to a AGL or radar altimeter altitude. The minimum decision height, or MDH, is 767 feet above the ground. Because we're in an Airbus and it's not 1930, we're going to use a barometric minimum of 1650 plus 50, which will then be put in here as 1700. Sorry, hit the wrong button there. 1700 in the minimum box. Baro is set. Boom. We're looking good. I feel like we're getting a little bit high. Maybe not. We're 80 miles out. We're at 30. If we were at 30, oh my gosh, Matt, 24. I think we're okay. Yeah, we're okay on the altitude, right? Yeah, we are. We're fine. We're fine. All right, 1700 is set. Looking at the approach now, let's look at actually flying this. So we're not using the initial approach fix out here on the arc. We've done the arc before, basically a non-event. Fly to the arc, airplane flies in a half circle. Ooh, look, it's pretty, it's cool and land. We're going to do the full procedure off of NEU. Nuken? This calls for overfly the VOR, track outbound on the 113 radial, then a left turn, I'm trying to see where, at 10.6, back to line up with the final approach course of 267. So we can fly this in an LNAV or in a final lap manner, which is what we're going to do. But we're going to back it up the old school way. We're going to have raw data backed up. So we're going to need to hard tune this VOR. So we're going to come over here. We're going to go rad nav. We're going to go NE. Is it U or Q? I keep forgetting. NEU. I keep wanting to say Q. So NEU over here. Oh. NEU and also NEU over here. All right. Same VOR, the 168 miles away. The outbound course is 113. The inbound is 267. I want the primary inbound on my side But I want the outbound, which I believe we said was 113. I want that on the FO side, 113 outbound. So we're going to put 113 over here. Basically what this is going to do, we're going to monitor the raw data from the VOR pointers or from the VOR, Rose VOR needles here. So this will hopefully show the correct symbology when we come on down. And we're also going to want to slow down a little bit. I'm just going to slow down. I'm going to just go ahead and select 280 speed, and I'm going to go open descent here because I feel like we're getting behind the curve. So we're going to go thrust idle, open descent. We're going to go seatbelt sign on. Down we go, continuing to brief. Outbound on the 113, followed by a left turn at 10.6. Inbound, a minimum of 1650 or 1700 feet. This looks like it's pretty much straight in when we break out, so we should see the runway straight ahead, and we'll put her down. Highest sector altitude is 4,200 feet out here. We've got terrain on, so we'll be able to monitor that. If we have to go miss, we intercept the 267 outbound up to 2,000 feet, and that looks good. So 113, which is actually 293 outbound. Yeah, so this is properly. Okay, good. So that looks good. But this is what we're going to do. Max 250 knots. I'm actually going to change this up. I want to be 180 over the VOR to help myself out. So I'm going to come here, speed constraint. I'm going to insert a constraint here of 180. And I'm going to make it a hard altitude of 6,000 instead of the at or above. That might actually alter our TOD. Yeah, we're high now. So now we are high. So let's go ahead and get the speed brake out. Let's go ahead and increase speed. Dive, dive, dive. If we have to do a turn in the hole, we'll do a turn in the hole. Here we go. Down we go. Let's enjoy this. Oh, my back is killing me, man. I have to get a little girl's jumping on my back yesterday, and like, maybe I'm getting old. I don't know. Max, where you at? Does this happen when you get old? Why does my back hurt? Let me go back to some of these comments here. I think Max was popping off. Let's see what he said. Is that you who made the announcements for cabin crew? I can neither confirm nor deny, Mr. Alexander. Christian, you said you're watching the Super Cup right now. I've never heard of her. When will you do a flight to Brazil with Azul? Very soon, Olivia, very soon. We're coming. So basically, we've gone southbound in South America, and now we're going northbound. So we're headed that way. We're going to go. We are definitely going to fly Azul. Do not worry about that. Just scrolling back in the chat there, seeing you guys going back and forth. Everything hurts when you get old. I've heard that, man. Aaron says it's just like the Super Bowl with actual football. So it's not the Super Bowl. It's a wannabe Super Bowl? Keith, I threw my back out putting on socks. Krishna says I'll spam the Discord tomorrow with game photos. Oh, man. Please. I'm just going to uninstall Discord for a while. All right, we're catching up to our decel. Or I'm sorry, our descent profile. We're 2,900. We're still coming down nicely. Ooh, look at that view. 288 likes, 260 watching. Absolutely fantastic, guys. I love it when I see that. Smashing the like button. More viewers and more likes and viewers. Always awesome. Thank you. That means you guys are enjoying it, coming in, hanging out for a little bit, hit the like button, go do something else, listen to someone that's not as annoying as me, come back and watch the landing. Absolutely love it. Thank you for hitting the like button. It definitely helps out, especially, you know, a channel like mine, no schedule. YouTube algorithms hate that, man. You need to be, if you want to be, here's a tip for anybody that is streaming or making videos and you're just getting your foot in the door with content creation on YouTube. Content is king. The more content you put out consistently, the better and the faster your channel will grow. So unfortunately I can't do that, just due to real life stuff I got going on. But yeah, it does help when you guys hit the like button, so I appreciate that. Do you have any tips for me on how to spend an entire month on reserve? Feeling anxious about getting called in the middle of the night. Kevin, hey dude, I've been doing it a long time and I still get nervous, man. Especially if I'm on, so depending on where you work, you might have different call out periods, but we've got one that's like 3 a.m. And I never sleep when I'm on a 3 a.m. call, or like that's when my call out starts at 3 a.m. because I'm afraid that I will sleep through the phone call and get a no-show. So I don't have any tips for you, man, other than it's just make sure your volume is all the way on, make sure it's always plugged in, and just accept the fact that you may, well, I wouldn't even want to say that and jinx it. Just, I don't have any other tips for you than make sure your phone is charged and plugged in and volume's all the way up. One time I did miss a showtime. It wasn't actually a call out. This is a real quick story. So basically I was an FO in Pittsburgh. I was brand new. I was brand new FO. I was on a Pittsburgh overnight and I was on the Embraer at the time. And so brand new, under the first year of flying, you're on what's called a probationary period. So you're not protected by any union benefits or anything like that. Basically the company can say, oh, well, you suck, you're out of here, you're fired, nothing you can do about it. So we're on a Pittsburgh overnight. We had a 4:30 van time in the morning to go to the airport. I had my alarm set. I had like 5 alarms set on my phone. I had like 3:30, 3:33, 3:37, 3:40, right? I always space them out like several minutes. That way I cannot always set as many alarms as you're comfortable setting, because that's a good way to make sure you don't miss a call or report time. But here's the tip I'll give you, Kevin, is I plugged my phone in, I went to sleep, and I would get awakened by the hotel room phone ringing. Pick it up, my captain, hey, where you at? What? He's like, where you at? We're waiting on you in the van. I'm like, oh my God, I'll be down in 5 minutes. Literally threw my uniform on, didn't even tie my tie, didn't brush my teeth, didn't do my hair. Probably the fastest I ever got ready. Still made the van wait. The van was waiting, and the hotel we stayed at was very far from the airport. It was like a 40-minute van ride. Oh shoot, here we go. We're speeding below 10,000. It was about a 40-minute van ride. So I didn't want to miss the van because then I would definitely be in trouble. But what happened was, even though I plugged my phone in, the charger wasn't working because I plugged it into the lamp. You know how some lamps have the outlets? So I plugged my charger into the outlet on the lamp, and then I plugged my phone in, but my phone never charged, and it died in the middle of the night, so my alarm never went off. But yeah, it was, I woke up and I was scrambling. I tried to get my phone. My phone wouldn't turn on. I didn't know what time it was. I was checking out. I was like, how do I find what time it is? I turned the TV on, and sure enough, it was like 4:37 or 4:40 in the morning, and I'm still basically just there in my bed. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get downstairs. But yeah, so make sure that when you plug your phone in that it is actively charging. What I do now, with peace of mind, I make sure if I have an early call out, I make sure I have enough charge on my cell phone before I go to sleep. That way, if it stopped charging throughout the middle of the night, I'd still be good. All right, we're 250 on the speed. We'll go ahead and stow the speed brake. We're coming down to 6,000 feet. Let's go ahead and come down here. We're going to activate, confirm. We need to get on it here. Activate, confirm. We're going to slow to 180 K knots. This is going to be a nice approach here with the sun, I think. This is actually timing out really well. I didn't even plan this. 180 K knots selected. 6,000 is set. I don't need to arm you just yet. I didn't mean to do that. Speed is coming back. We're coming down to 6,000. Constraint mode is on. Flight attendants, prepare for landing. We'll do that. We're out of 10. Let's get the lights on. You hear the little air. You hear the air coming on from the wing lights. Absolutely love it. 10 for 10, Boris. Let me get flight recorder up as well. Boom, boom. John Mark, what's up, man? Welcome. Christian says, the fact that you're flying to Argentina and Brazil and talking smack about football, you wouldn't want to get out of the airport. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. You're right, Christian. Let me, I take back everything I said. I take back everything I said about that. You're right, I totally forgot. All right, there's VFE-NX -10, flaps uno. God, I love this airplane. I love the sim. Look at this view, the sounds. I'm just happy to be back and streaming. This is, this really, thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with me today. Look at that. Screenshot. Screenshot. Hopefully the game doesn't crash. Thanks for the tip on multiple consecutive alarms. Absolutely, Kevin. Yeah, I do. At minimum, Kevin, I never have less than 3 alarms set on my phone. And I space them out at odd minutes because sometimes, like I think if you have a 5 a.m. alarm and you snooze it, it will automatically come back 5 minutes later. So if you have 2 alarms set, your second alarm will never go off. So I always do random numbers. I have like I'll have a 5 a.m., a 5:02, a 5:07, and like a 5:11 alarm set, all on my phone. And use the loudest, most obnoxious ringtone you can find for crew scheduling and your alarm. I think mine is actually called Alarm. It's just that meh, meh, meh. All right, here we go, Flaps 2. God, this looks amazing. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator, John. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Look at those views. Look at the sun coming around from around the smart bird. Maddox says, I had a chat with Boris. We'll try to put that paper ripping sound in. Placeholder for now until you get a recording. Maddox, dude, that is fantastic. I will try to get one ASAP. I'm going to get a sound ASAP for you, man. Next couple days. Benny, what's going on, man? Welcome. 21 months. Thank you for your continued support. It says, hello, Captain. Nice to see you streaming. Keep it up. Benny, thank you so much, man, for your support. Glad to have you here. Just in time for a stunning landing, my friend. All right, here's the VOR outbound. So let's go ahead and track the Rose VOR for number 2 as a backup. You can see we're turning outbound. We're at 6,000 feet. This needle should start to come in. We can descend outbound to 3,200 as indicated here on the VOR. So we're VOR outbound. Let's go ahead and set 3,200 in the window here. Thrust idle, open, descent down to 3,200. All right, I'm gonna go ahead. We've talked about peaks mode. Actually, we'll just leave it on for now. What the heck? Why aren't we descending? Come on down, baby. Let's go tiller cam on as well. You need your alarm sound set to the autopilot disconnect sound. That would wake me up, promise. No, that could give me PTSD around this. I don't want that. Real quick, super short, funny story. Long time ago, I was flying with a captain who had his phone ringtone was the Embraer 170 fire alarm bell. Real true story. I'm the FO, he's the captain. We're getting a FAA is on the jump seat. He gets a phone call on the takeoff roll. Yeah. We'll go from there. Basically, they added cell phones off in the checklist after that. You can fill in the blanks. All right, 5,200 descending to 3,200 feet, 180 on the speed. You know what? We'll do auto brakes low just because I'm... yeah, we'll turn them off. Screw it. We'll let the auto brakes slow down. Or we'll let the auto thrust slow us down. So we're 180, we're slowing down. So after any U11, we'll make a left-hand turn to intercept the final. You could see here on the FO's ND that we are correctly tracking outbound, and theoretically you could just use this needle right here to monitor raw data, but I'm just using Rose VOR over here to show you a little bit more what's going on. We're going to hit the magic barometric key, which is this. We're going to go boom, which is 29 or 9 or 7. Which is 10:15, which is set. Lights are on, we're at 4.3. We're looking good. After we make the turn inbound, we can descend inside of 5 miles to 2530. As a matter of fact, we should be able to go approach mode. Oh, I don't think we have that nav on this. All right, so we're flying this the old way. We're flying it in LNAV. That's all right. We're down to 3,200 feet here, beginning for the turn inbound. Only rampers use auto brakes. But that's why they're always on in your screenshots then, Max. Makes sense. Thank you, man. You could set the alarm ringtone to wind shear. Oh my gosh, I know. Oh, I heard of that sim. I totally... What's the airport? Nyoken? Nyoken traffic. Smartbird 357, we're on the VOR 27. About 10 miles, starting to turn inbound now at Nyoken. No idea if I'm saying that right. All right, 180. We're flaps 2. We're activated and confirmed. We're going to start an inbound turn here right now. Oh, check out that for beautiful. Oh my gosh, we're going to be flying into the sunset. That is stunning right there. Look at the rays coming off this. Oh my goodness, I love this sim. Let's turn up the juice a little bit.
We're left traffic. this is Argentina 515, initiating RNAV for runway 27 on Lomek, Neuquén traffic.
Neuquén. We're gonna need a proper landing gear lever. Scott, I know, man. You know, back when Cat 3 design was in discussion with me about the tiller, he offered me the real Airbus landing gear lever, and I said, I'll pass. Respectfully, I'll pass. One, because I never want to take advantage of anybody or any company, and like when I want to showcase something or partner with someone, I want to actually truly do good, and I know it costs money to make products, so when someone sends me something, I always feel a little bit of guilt, so I respectfully declined. I said, hey, I'll be all right. And then, man, I regret it now, though. I regret not having a proper Airbus gear lever now, that is for sure. All right, so can I arm it now? I'm just curious. No, that's fine. All right, we're going to set 2,500. We are at 11.1, so as soon as we hit 10 miles, we can start down, because it's 5 plus 5. So there's 10.7. 10.6 at 10 even. Oh, we need to start the recording. Recording is on. I know, Gino, I should have definitely. All right, let's go ahead and start down. Open descent down to 2,500. I'm going to slow to 160. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and manage the speed right now. Let's go ahead and go gear down. Oh, that is all the juice right there. All the juice right there. Smashing that like button for this turn in. This is really cool. VFE next, minus 10, flaps 3. Alright, I don't want to go flaps full here if I can help it, so I'm going to reselect speed 157-ish. That's fine.
Neuquén traffic, Argentina 515. We got you on the ND, and you're number 1. We are following you on number 2.
All right, copy that. Neuquén traffic, Smartbird 357. Turn and final now, 8 miles for runway 27, Neuquén. All right, I want to fly. Autopilot off, flight director's off. VOR approaches are fun and all. Give me the bird. Bird's in chat. Manage speed. We're going to hold 2,500. Actually, I'm going to turn the auto thrust off as well. Ooh, that was an improper disconnect of the auto thrust there. Match and mash. I did not match it first. I saved it, though. Superior aviating skills. I was able to pull them back fast enough. But the proper way to disconnect the auto thrust is you always want to set your thrust levers at the current position before disconnecting, because if you don't, if the thrust is at like 40%, which it was, and the thrust levers are in the climb detent, and you just disconnect it, guess where the thrust is going? To climb power. Don't really want to be going to climb power right now, so that was an improper technique on my part, but we brought him back in time and saved it. Alright, there we go. We can go ahead and descend below. If we got to go mist, we'll go, I'm not sure what the altitude was. We'll set 6,000. Climb and hold over the VOR 6,000. Alright. 3-degree path. Walking the power back. Let's go flaps full. Landing checklist. Cabin crew advised. Auto thrust is off. ECAM memo. Landing all green. Landing checklist is complete. Runway's in sight. Let's do it. No LS push buttons required. Remember, LS, localizer slope is how I like to. I think it's landing system.
1,000.
But localizer slope. We're not on a loc, and we're not on an ILS, so we do not need the LS push buttons. You can see terrain is doing proper terrain things down there. Cool to see. I got to remember I got the auto thrust off here too. Add some power. Put the Throttletek to
100
work.
above.
100 above. Runway's in sight. Landing is the call. Watch the sunset.
Minimum.
That was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. A little bit of crosswind from the right, just like we picked up in the ATIS. No centerline lights on this runway. Writing that down in the report. Here I'm reading chat and overspeeding. All right, let me pay attention here.
500.
No pappies either, huh?
400.
Take a 7.3 in here, you might crash.
200.
Right on speed. Looking good. Don't fall into that black
100.
hole. Nice little crab here from the right. We'll straighten her out here as we come over the numbers.
50.
Ooh, a little low.
40. 30. 20. 10.
Little
5.
hold it. Straighten her out. Oh my goodness. So much juice on that. I don't even know what that landing rate was. That felt good. Spoilers. Reverse is green. Let the reverser work. $70 knots, idle reverse. I love having idle reverse with the Throttletek. Just so much fun. So much fun. We'll roll it to the end. Leave the buckets out. Remember, you can be an idle reverse all the way down to aircraft stop. Plus, it looks cool, so I tend to leave mine out till we clear the runway in case there's some kid there sitting on the engine view like me that's like, oh, it's so cool seeing the reverser. That was a 110. Ooh, I'll take it. That felt like a 110. I'm curious to see how we got to do a turnaround on the runway here. Shoot. All right, there's a guy landing too. It just got serious mode here. We're gonna make a quick little turn. I forgot about this. A real pilot would have actually looked at the airport diagram before landing here. I was gonna say something I forgot. Probably wasn't important. All right, let's clear the runway. Let's give it some juice here. We're not gonna reconfigure until we get clear. I think I see him out there turning final, vaguely. Happy on this side. That's interesting. Quick yoga to the exit, methinks. Yeah, we're juicing it here. 40% is your limitation on the ground for thrust, if you can help it. And we're doing 50 knots. Sure doesn't feel like it. Is there even a terminal here? I've never been to this airport in my life, obviously. I've never even looked at it. Never even came here in the sim. Oh, Swarm, you cracked me up, man. Oh, something specific in the replay. You're right. I want to see the crosswind correction there, because that felt good. You know, I started to put that rudder in, then I had to correct with a little bit of aileron, so it felt good. So I'm really curious to see that in the replay. Really curious to see that in the replay here. All right, now let's go ahead and let's clear here. Brakes, brakes, brakes. You want to be below 20 knots here on the turn if you can help it. There we go. Now we'll take it off. I didn't check Nick if it was in there or not. And Yokin traffic. JetSmart. No, correction. Smartbird. Smartbird 357. We're clear. 27 taxi to the ramp. Runway's all yours. All right, let's go ahead and clean it up. Do that. We'll do that. Oh, I love doing that. It's so cool being able to do it with the Throttletek. We're going to leave the lights on just because replay, sometimes you'll hear that tick, 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 tick the whole way down, so I don't want to listen to that, so we're going to leave all the lights on. Ah, screw it. You know what? Let's turn the lights off. Let's be professionals. Just remind me to turn them on before we start the replay. Wow. If I would have known the ramp was all the way down here, I would have landed the other direction. Sorry about that. Taxi Simulator 2020. Look at that full moon, though. Look at that. Smart. Shop smart. Shop smart. Shop smart. Smartbird. Can I get your custom camera config? You know, if I knew how to make it easily available, I would, but I really don't know how to do that, man. Sorry. Kevin says, is there a speed restriction when you're taxiing on the runway? When you're taxiing on the runway, that's a good question. Probably 30 knots. I don't know. Maybe 50 knots. That's a great question. I don't know. I'd have to look it up, my friend. All right, we're going to park here at the hotel building. Brakes set. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nyokin. I guess he's still a little bit further out, so we're good there. What we'll do then is we'll go ahead and disconnect from VATSIM. And let's reconfigure the lights, number one. So let's get the wing light on, let's get the strobe light on, let's get that on, that on, that on. Dome light was off, so we'll turn that off. Don't want to hit the ditching push button. We're going to config, I believe we were like flaps full. We'll just do flaps full for the replay.
The uppers are disarmed.
Ah.
The doors verified.
Those are new sounds that I haven't heard before. That's cool. Max 50 knots when taxiing on a runway. There you go. Sounds right. 60 knots at your airline. Yeah, it's... I'm sure it sounds bad. I'm sure there's a limitation. I'm drawing a blank right now, guys. That's why I'm a ramper. All right, everything else is good. We are configured for replay. Disconnect from VATSIM. Let's go ahead and take a look at this juicy replay. Use man pitch trim. That's never a good sign. All right, where are we at? I'm actually going to bring the time back a little bit, too. We're going to bring it back. It was right at sunset when we did this. Cool. Park brake off, thank you. Thank you, Chaos. Alright, let's take a look at this. Seems awfully loud on replay. Why are we in Toga lock? Oh, you know what? Because the auto thrust was off, I think. Yeah, it was. Alright, here we go. Let's enjoy a couple wing views here. John Mark, fire off, man. Quinn says, I got a suggestion for the 30K tour. Man, I don't have, like, I'm not going to remember that. If you want to drop that in the Discord, drop it in the Discord, but I'm probably not going to remember that here on stream, man. But I'm not even sure what those identifiers are. I have to look them up. VHHH, isn't that, I think I know that one. That's over there in Hong Kong land, isn't it? Kitech. Scooby, what's up, man? What would happen in real life if you land with the park brake on? I'm trying to... If you land with the park brake on, I don't believe... Well, it'd be really hard to do because you'd be getting ECAM warnings all the way down. I'm having a conflict now. I don't remember if I'm thinking Embraer, because you guys had me going down the memory lane here with my regional stuff. One of them prohibits you from landing with the brake on. Like, it won't actually stop. I think that was the Embraer. The Airbus might actually lock up the brakes on you. I'd have to double check, man. For some reason, my mind is... I've got a lot of Embraer in my brain right now. It is the park brake, so what's interesting about the parking brake, it is a valid option to stop the aircraft. So if you have a loss of normal braking, what we do is the memory item is reverse thrust maximum, well, reverse maximum, brake pedals release, we turn off the anti-skid and nose wheel steering, and then we apply brakes, 1,000 PSI or less, monitor that. If that does not work, then we use the parking brake. We have approximately 7 applications of the parking brake, which will use the accumulator pressure to stop the airplane. So you have multiple ways to stop the airplane. The parking brake is one of the alternate methods of stopping the airplane should you have loss of normal braking. But as far as landing with the park brake on in normal configuration, it wouldn't let them lock, I don't think. I think the anti-skid would prevent the locking, but it would be freaking violent. But I wouldn't want to try it. I wouldn't want to try with that. I might have to try it in the Phoenix though. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the anti-skid would be taken over. It would not be a good scenario either way. All right, let's take a look here. When you put the landing gear down, it depends on simulation. Ernest, in a normal approach and landing, 2,000 feet on the descent. So going through 2,000 feet, if you're at 180 knots, flaps 2, put the gear down. That's perfect time. You'll be stable by 1,000 every time. Ooh, I don't know. Let's watch this view right here. Power and idle, little correction. Flare. Ooh, that looked juicy. That looked juicy. All right, I don't want to go into reverse thrust yet. Let's pause it. Let's back it up. Let's go from right here. Let's watch outside view. Let's watch what happened here on this touchdown. I want to really see if we can get any crosswind. We can actually see it change here. Look at that rudder. Straighten it out. A little bit of flare. Ooh, that was freaking good. I will take that every day and twice on Sunday, my friends. Could have flared a little bit more. Could have flared just a little bit more. Let's watch it from this angle here. So you can see like the rudder. If I can't really see it from this angle, but I use a little bit of rudder, a little bit of aileron, get the airplane nice and straight longitudinally, kiss the runway right on the markers. Freaking nice. Let's see. Let's actually see right about here. I'm going to resume, pause. So you can see on touchdown, we are pretty much nice longitudinally straight, no side load. A little bit of, could have been better there with the centerline control there after that, but that's just rudder pedals. I'm not used to my rudder pedals yet. I've been in the sim too much in the real sim. All right, guys. I'm going to leave you with a couple more of these juicy touchdowns. Won't take it twice on Sunday. Chick-fil-A. Hey, Key 6, I had Chick-fil-A for lunch today, man. I'm getting really tired of Chick-fil-A, but it's pretty much the only thing they eat around here at the office. So, at the V1 HQ. Guys, this has been a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this stream. I will try to be back tomorrow. No promises. It's either going to be members only in the PMDG doing West Coast America ops, or we're going to be in the Phoenix A320 headed up to the SABE Regional Airport, the LaGuardia of South America, as Gustavo put it. I hope to see you then. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. See ya!
200. 100. 50. 40.